Alright, this is Hill TV. I got a guest on my show today, Mr. Gary Stewart. Thank you for coming by, sir.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
I really appreciate you for taking the time out to give to this cause. The first question I got for you is, as America today financially, say if I'm 19, 20 years old and I get a credit card in the mail, what's my best way to handle that so I won't land in that trap we call debt?
Well, first, a lot of those credit cards you're going to receive in the mail as a young person, you got to be careful when you get a card in the mail and they're offering you $300 to $500 credit, and there usually comes with a startup fee. And say if you take a $300 credit card and you accept it, and that company's charging you $125 to start it off, well then you're down to only really $175 line of credit. And then you go fill up your car, and that's $80, and then you're over halfway on that balance.
On your limit, so
you don't even know it.
You're not even aware of it.
Right. And the goal of, if you do take that credit card, is to keep it under 50% of the available credit. So if you got a $300 line of credit, you really don't want to go over 150, because even if you make your payments on time, you're really not helping your credit. So you always want to make sure of that. And if you're 19, I mean, you got to establish credit a little bit, but you got to be responsible for it. I always say that there's certain things I buy on credit, but you shouldn't get into buying clothes on credit, shoes on credit.
That's the trap.
That's the trap.
That's the material. How about I know a lot of people always tell me, a lot of guys, they tell me the Macy's used to always get them. They get approved with the Macy's card, and they'll go crazy on Polo and Tommy Hilfiger, and then that they'll get lured in.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just I'm big against using a credit card to buy clothes, or really even you should manage your money, create a budget, and allot money if you want to buy. If you're into clothes, allot a certain dollar amount every month, but never buy clothes on a credit.
On a credit card.
Unless you use it and you know you're gonna pay it off at the end of the month, that's fine. But you don't want to get into a habit of buying clothes.
The habit in that, and that's what it's all about. It's all about us as a people, especially in the African American community. It's all about, because you know there's always that funny saying, oh man, when it comes to black man and black woman, we got bad credit. That's the unfortunately that's the label and stereotype they throw on top of us. So it's definitely all about, you know, our elders and people that lived it, educating especially the youth on how to be financially independent and have some wisdom on that, so they won't get trapped like the future and, you know, other people that came before them.
What I find that a lot of our young black males, or young people in general, what they fall in the trap of is a car purchase. What I always tell people is, you don't go to the car lot without financing in your pocket already. So if you're getting ready to buy a car, my strategy always has been, at least where I bank at, I want to go to them first and see what type of loan they're willing to give me, so I'll know.
Before you go to the dealer.
Before you go to the dealer. Because if you go to the dealer without financing in your back pocket, then he's not even competing for your finance. So he's going to give you the worst deal that you're willing to accept, because that's how the finance world works, is you don't get the credit that you earn, you get the credit that you're willing to accept.
Oh, wow.
Because I've seen people with 700 credit scores, and they're paying like 18% on a car loan because they went to the dealer not having financing in your back pocket. So like, say if you're a member of just say the State Employees Credit Union, I would go there and see what they would be willing to loan me on a car, so that, and I know, get pre-approved from your bank, so that they might be willing to do it at, like the state employees might do 4.5% on a used vehicle. And so that when you go to that dealer and you sit down with their finance people, you're able to show like, hey, I got this, and I know that I have a 4.5% interest rate for this used car. I'm willing to use your financing, but you got to beat the terms I already got. Because if you go into the dealership without financing in your back pocket, then he's going to get you for as much as they could get you for, because that's just what finance is, getting you to accept those, getting you to accept the worst financing deal that you're willing to accept.
Worst financing deal.
So be prepared, do your homework.
And that's what I think a lot of us, and I think that was a very good point, a lot of us, and including myself, I'm guilty of it too, is we rush. We rush as a people. We do not take time, compare prices, and do our homework. We get excited, anxiety, and we just jump on the first thing hot. And that's what we need to learn. Take our time. Yes.
Because, I'm probably fanatical about that, because I even to a point where I really over-research it, because I want to make sure if I'm going to buy this used car, and this is really what I'm harping on, is because a lot of times that 20-year-old brother, the first big thing he's going to buy is and use financing for is a car. And the worst thing you could do is buy a used car and automatically have problems. So what I do is...
So now you're financing and you got problems with the car now. Double whammy.
Double whammy. So what I do is I take out Consumer Reports, the auto edition, and if I'm looking at a 2009 whatever vehicle, I want to see what they're saying, and if it lines up that they've always had transmission problems on it. Whether I just love the way that car looks, I'm not going to get it, because I know down the road it's going to be problems.
It's going to be problems.
And I think when young people buy their first car, they should over-research it. Make sure you're getting the best car. More than likely it might be a used car, and see what the history of that car for that year that you're looking at. So if you don't want to go buy a car and they've had 10 different recalls on it, or they've always had transmission problems on it, and then you could find that through using the web, and Consumer Reports are going to list the car. So that's what I would do, because you mess up a car payment and you get a car in 20 and it's a 5-year loan, then you're going to be in your mid-20s before that loan is paid off if you just do the monthly payments. So I would definitely recommend that you do your homework, your first purchase, and even though you think you might know what you're doing, never go alone. I think it's a problem. You go to a car dealership by yourself, then you don't have nobody else watching your back.
That's right.
Back in my church a long time ago, my pastor said if a man brings his significant other or his wife with him, and you get ready to buy a purchase, but it doesn't even have to be a car, that one of you two, between the two of you guys, somebody will see if the person you're dealing with is being underhanded. It's all about
intuition and third eye. That's right. Look, that's right.
Don't get caught up thinking that you're grown and you can go up here and make this major purchase by yourself.
That's right.
If you're not married, bring a friend, or bring an elder, somebody older than you, or more experienced.
That's right, more experience.
Because you don't want to get into buying a car and making a mistake.
And let me stop you right there. That's another good point. I think a lot of our generation today, they don't take advantage of the wisdom from elders and experience. They feel like maybe sometimes they know it all, and they don't need the wisdom, and they got it figured out. And you young guys, you listen to Mr. Stewart, he dropping that knowledge, and he ain't charging, so you better take advantage of it. Take advantage of your elders, people around you, because he might be that drunk old uncle sitting on the couch, but you don't know what type of experiences and knowledge he has to give you. So absolutely, take advantage of that.
Because we all need mentors. Because I was fortunate to when I was coming up and I got out the Navy and I got to D.C. area. This guy took me under his wings, and he showed me about buying property, and he said, well, what you really want to do, if you're only making $30,000 a year, the goal is to put all that $30,000 a year to work for you. So he showed me how to buy. I got into real estate, and I bought my first investment property.
Nice.
I think I was about 22 years old in D.C. I bought a 4-unit building.
Nice.
And because I had a mentor, he showed me how to do it, and then
And you embraced his knowledge. That's what it's all about. That's wonderful.
And that's the key, is that you do have to pull aside up alongside somebody who has knowledge, and don't let the big pride get in the way.
That's right.
And hopefully there's people with knowledge willing to share, because you definitely don't want to keep knowledge to yourself. So.
Absolutely. It's, we definitely have to get away from the crab in the bucket mentality. Let's uplift, let's grow, and let's share.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you said you got into real estate. How do you feel, when's a good time to start looking into buying a home for a young male out here or a young woman out here?
Well, when buying a house, if that's what your desire too, I mean, just once you have a stable job and you're willing to take the responsibilities of ownership. I mean, I think a lot of younger males, I would say, are more likely to get into it for the investment part of it. But we do need more men to be able to purchase
property. Absolutely, we need some homeowners.
Right. Before we got on the camera, you were talking about those. Going back, talking about the credit cards. What I saw in real estate was the young brother, even if he was coming out of graduate from college with his degree, because he was chasing whatever dreams he was chasing women or partying in college, and he got those cards, and he had already messed up his credit before he even got out of college. So then, where our young sisters seemed like they had their credit in order. And what I would like to see...
So the sisters what you've seen, more credit in order than the brothers.
Right,
got you. Okay.
Typically, if it's a single person and they're buying a house, it's going to be the female. Because single men, for some reason, because we probably live a more reckless life, aren't able to get their credit together until they get married.
Because we're chasing, we're running and irresponsibility, and that comes with maturity, of course.
That comes with maturity. But if you young brothers can keep your credit in order and start buying properties, there's no reason why you can't buy a property. I know people buy it at 18, as soon as they get enough, because there's ways of getting property. There's a whole seminars on it, and there's grants, and I heard of some programs called HUD. There's many programs out there. A lot of programs. If you want to buy a house, you could get the house. And I think what we need to do is just be better managers of your resources. The
resources, absolutely. And like you said, a lot of them seminars are free. And we're not running to stuff like that. We out here busy buying and being consumers, and we need to be the sellers, and we need to learn how to get into the game. So take advantage, take advantage of your resources around you. Pay attention. Go to these free seminars. It's free. Take advantage of it.
For the brothers especially, if you really want that house, the first thing that my mentor always said, do not go buy that car until you get your house, because you don't want your car payment affecting where you could live. You rather have the house and then let the car fit what you could fit. Get your house before you get that car.
Can't live in your car, buddies.
No, more than likely. There's no guarantee either of them going to appreciate in value, but it's more likely that your house is going to appreciate in value and
gain equity,
and give you a better tax position than that car is going to give you.
Absolutely.
So one thing I would say, young men and women, get that house and then get the car.
Well, this is Hill TV. I really appreciate you, Mr. Stewart, for sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom with the youth and the public out there. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.